Welcome friends, it's Ray. Thank you so much for joining me today. In today's video, I am unboxing the November My Monthly Hero Arts kit. And this one is definitely a goodie. Everything in the kit comes in this mesh bag, and it has lots of goodies. So there is a 4x6 stamp set that coordinates with the 13 fancy dies that we get in the kit. And these dies, I couldn't wait to get my hands on them. You can make a snowman, an elf, Santa, and I am going to attempt to make make a gingerbread man. And in the kit, you can also make a reindeer. So these sentiments in the stamp set kind of coordinate with the holiday theme, and these the whole theme of the kit is tags, and so there is a to and from if you want to make tags, but I think we'll make some tags and some cards. Okay, and also in the kit we get white puff embossing powder, crystal clear lacquer pen, and some red and white twine, and we get some cardstock. We get 10 sheets of snow cardstock, and it's a white glitter cardstock, 8.5 by 5.5. Let's see. Okay, so I said that wrong. We get 1 sheet of white glitter paper, okay, here. And then we get 10 sheets of snow white cardstock. Okay, got it. All right, so without further ado, let's get started crafting. I did my die cutting all off camera up front, and so here I am using my alcohol markers to color in the face of my elf and Santa. I start out trying to use a lighter shade. I bring in a slightly darker shade and mix the two together. So I will list my marker colors. I am using 141 and 144. I am coloring in Santa's nose to match, and so I'm going to bring in a slightly darker shade for my elf, and that is 141. I apologize, my lighting appears to be a bit off, but we'll keep going, and I do fix that kind of midways the video, or attempt to fix it, I should say. But here I'm coloring in the ears for my elf, and then I am bringing in marker color 154 pale mauve to color in his hair, and using the large nib, the broad nib, which I rarely use, to color most of these faces and pieces. I did die cut a lot of my pieces out of felt, and so here I'm taking a piece of white felt, just the top that I cut off, and placing that on top of the red Santa cap. And these pieces are easy when you die cut. They are easy to trim off and affix to other pieces. So that's what I'm doing here. I cut Santa's nose from cardstock and then use liquid glue to affix it to the felt mustache. And here I'm taking his beard and just trying to see where I want to place those. And so for Santa, I have to take his beard up closer to the nose. And when I die cut some of my pieces, I forgot to first attach the felt to cardstock. That makes it easier. I did that for some of my pieces after I realized that, I forgot to do it. So just a tip there for you, if you're using felt, do use liquid adhesive. Affix your felt to your cardstock first. It makes it easier to die cut. It makes it easier to use liquid glue to affix it to the other pieces. It's just easier all around.
My bell jingles.
I used a small jingle bell on the tip of my elf's cap, and I also cut the cap out of green felt, but also partially die cut it out of red just to get the top, and then place that onto the green cap. I have affixed his face or his hair and ears to his face. And now I'm taking a scrap piece of paper, placing some liquid glue around the eyes and the nose, and placing that scrap on top. Off camera, I used my black gel pen to color in some eyes, just realizing that I forgot to color in the nose for my elf. So I brought in my 141 hazelnut marker and colored in his nose. I don't always make tags for Christmas. I typically buy them, but I usually always make cards. So I'm having fun making some tags this year with this kit. Let me know in the comments whether you make Christmas or holiday tags, and whether or not you make holiday cards at Christmas. So here I've used liquid glue to affix his eyes and his nose, added a little bit more color to his nose, and now using liquid adhesive to affix his cap. And here I'm applying pressure with my acrylic block. Now let's work on our reindeer's antlers. I am cutting the inner ear out. It is already partially die cut, so this is really easy to snip out. Thankfully, this is one of the pieces I remembered to back with white cardstock. Here I'm bringing in some scrap card pieces of pink and cardstock pieces, and just trimming those out and adding liquid adhesive just so the pink shows through to the front for the inner ear. So here I'm working on the face, which I've die cut out of felt, and placing some scrap cardstock on the back of that to affix so that I have a place or a holder for the eyes. And then I'm bringing in the chocolate, is that the muzzle, I think, of my reindeer. And that I forgot to add cardstock to the back. So I am just putting the liquid adhesive on the glue directly, placing my acrylic block there so that I can apply pressure. And I did cut the nose out of a scrap piece of glitter black cardstock. So I'm affixing that with liquid glue. So here I'm affixing another pair of those black glossy eyes that I used my gel pen on earlier. And I did cut out the holly from some Palm Hero Arts Palm cardstock and the red from cranberry, and just cut the bottom part of the red, not the whole holly leaf, and trimmed that down and placing the red berries on top of the green berries. And we'll affix this to my reindeer's head, apply some pressure there. Well, I decided at the 11th hour that this is going to be Rudolph, so I cut his nose out of cranberry red cardstock, affixed that with liquid glue. So I'm bringing back in my Santa and placing some scrap on the back behind the eyes so that I have a place for my black eyes, and applying some liquid adhesive, placing those eyes in with my jewel picker, and oh, looks much better, Santa. Really loving these images in the kit. So here I am finishing up adding the collar to my little elf. Oh, much better, much better. I have my red scarf in hand. I added some liquid glue to the edge, and I'm placing that on underneath Rudolph's muzzle.
So here I have a Hero Arts Infinity Oval, and this one measures 3 by 3.5. And I have just placed it on the fold, or actually a little off fold, because I want that to keep that fold. And I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. Okay, I ran that through twice on this 8.5 by 3 3/4 fold. This is 120 pound. So the first time I didn't use my metal shim, so I just ran it through my die cutting machine 3 times to get both sides. But this last time I used my metal shim, and I only had to run it through once. So if you have a metal shim, it's great for this. If not, just run it through 2 or 3 times, and hopefully with your die cutting machine it will cut. The other thing you can do is, if it doesn't cut, is, once you cut the front and if the back is still attached, you can open it up, move your oval, or what did I do with my oval? Here it is. You can open it up, move your oval to the inside, because you'll have those indentations, and so then you should be able to finish cutting. So I've got my stamps to and then from Santa on the door of my Misty. I'm going to use my Hero Arts Intense Black ink and stamp those. Let's get that off. I'm going to use my dry eraser, and that looks pretty good, but I think I want one more stamp. So let's ink that up once more and stamp. Oh, my camera is shaking here, sorry. Okay, lovely. Okay, I'm going to go through and do that for my remaining
Here I'm
tags.
placing my tag in my Misty, and outside, or outside facing up, and have mask off with the post-it notes, mask off the back cover or the left, and I have positioned my stamp in my Misty where I want it. I'm bringing in some Distress Oxide Candied Apple ink, and using my dry eraser, I am inking the bottom of my tag twice, and I am going to do this for each of my tags. I decided to cover up that From Santa, and I just used some red cardstock at the bottom, and instead I'm stamping Merry Christmas. I'm using my scissors to trim up just the folded edge of my tags. Here I'm adding some liquid adhesive to the back of Rudy. I have turned him over and am affixing him to the tag, making sure to place my opening for my string in the right position up top, so that there is no overlap between the top of his head and my tag. I affix Santa the exact same way and place both under an acrylic block, and bringing in my elf, and we'll do the same, and his the tip of his hat will stick out to the left of the tag base. And I'm using some liquid glue to affix a pom-pom to the tip of Santa's cap. I placed a clothespin on top so that to apply pressure so that glue can affix strongly. I am placing my twine in the opening for my tag, and here actually use some Nuvo glitter drops in ruby red to make Rudolph's nose shine, applying some lacquer, clear lacquer pen that came in the kit to his eyes, as well as his mouth, and I did outline his mouth with my white gel pen just to make it stand out a little bit. And here I am bringing in some sequins from a past Hero Arts kit, and it has some iridescent snowflakes, and I'm going to place 3 of those on my tag. Next, I'm doing the same for my elf. I am bringing in or affixing 3 of those iridescent snowflakes. And I do the same for Santa. And I do the same for my gingerbread man. And I made him off camera, but the exact same way. But I used some Hero Arts skin tone card stock and use my gel pen to accent his mouth and lines on either side of his face, and some Nouveau Ebony Black drops for part of his eyes, and I used the glitter cardstock that came in the kit. I did use some Nouveau White Blizzard for his scarf, which I cut out of some pattern paper. And then the tip of his hat is that same glitter cardstock, and the white accent for his hat is white glitter cardstock. And I stamped Warm Wishes with some VersaFine Onyx Black ink and used some clear embossing powder for that shine, and a tiny pom-pom for his nose. For my last tag, I have cut out of Hero Arts Palm green cardstock, a scarf, and a portion of the hat, and using the stamp from the kit, am giving those a striped pattern using Hero Arts Intense Black ink. And initially, I was going to make a card and cut off the tip of his hat, and here I am cutting off just a portion of the hat, the accent piece, and can't think of the name of it right this minute. But that's what I'm doing here. I'm piecing I've cut that out, and then I'm going to use some liquid adhesive to add that to the hat. So next I will place my pieces where I think I want them and figure out position. Here I'm bringing in a 2 3/4 inch circle for the snowman's body. Using liquid adhesive, I go ahead and attach his head to his body, and then I will go ahead and affix his scarf. Next, I will affix his hat, just slightly slant it to the left. Here I'm using some pine needles distress ink to darken my holly leaves. I'm placing a scrap piece of paper on the back to cover up the openings for the eyes and the nose, and using liquid adhesive to do that. Here I brought in a piece of scrap paper and am cutting a carrot nose for my snowman. And this first cutting was just too small, so I am going to cut a second piece a little larger, and that one fits much better. Before I fix his nose, I'm going to replace the white nose, and then we'll affix the carrot nose. I've placed my snowman in my MISTI and am adding a sentiment, Merry Christmas, using Hero Arts Intense Black ink, and I stamped that twice.
Okay, so I'm going to make a gift card envelope, and I've cut my cardstock 5.5 by 5.5. And let's score at 1.5. Then let's rotate our paper and score again at 1.5. All right. And then we're going to rotate to the other side and score at 1/2 inch. And rotate and turn and score at 1 1/4. Okay, so that is our scored piece. Then we're going to go ahead and fold and burnish, fold and burnish. Do that for each side. Fold and burnish. Then we'll open that up and we're going to cut out each corner at our score line. And we'll clean that up later. So I'm not too concerned about that. So let's just trim out these last 2 corners. Oops. Okay, so now we end up like this, and when we fold over, I want to trim this out a little bit. Yes. And then trim this out. I use the left side as a guide. Okay. Okay, that looks good. You could fold either way. And then down here, this is the bottom, I'm going to just trim out just a hair. And it doesn't even have to match because it's going to be covered up. But I'm just trimming that out so I won't have so much bulk at the bottom. Like that. Okay. Now I want to bring in my envelope punch because I don't have a, let's trim this out a little bit. I don't have a corner rounder punch, but if you do, that would be handy. So I'm going to just use the back of my envelope punch board to round my corners. Yes. Okay. Round each corner. Why do you say I didn't use my envelope punch board to make this envelope? I need to watch a video. I've had this for years and still haven't quite figured out how it works. They've got instructions. My mind doesn't compute those, so I tend to make my own envelopes. All right, so let's go ahead and get our double-sided tape, and we're going to add tape here to the left side and to the bottom. And to the top of our envelope. I'm going to burnish that down with a folding tool or scoring tool. I can't find my bone folder. It's probably in with another project that I started and didn't finish. Let me know in the comments if you start projects that you don't finish. I just sometimes have to move on to something else, and then I'll come back to it later. So I assume that is where my bone folder is. So I folded these over, and then I'm going to burnish. And here is my gift card envelope. Let's get a gift card. Yay! And there you have it. Okay. So, of course, we'll leave the release paper on until we use that, of course. I am placing my gift card in the MISTI, and I'm going to stamp on the back, so front side down. And I have my to and from. I want to stamp that on my the back of my envelope. Why? You'll see in just a bit when I assemble everything how I'm using this gift card envelope. So let's just get our to and from stamped. Lovely. Okay, we'll stamp that on the fold, so I could have brought that down a little bit, but we're okay. We're gonna go with that.
So, I'm going to finish up our snowman. I have placed a black hat on the back of the sparkling black hat, and used liquid glue to affix that. And so now I'm bringing in just the top of my glitter hat that I had cut off at the very beginning, and I'm going to affix that back on using my Precision Ranger Multi-Matte Medium Glue, or Multi-Medium Matte Glue. And then fixing that looks good. And I also will affix the red berries to the holly leaf, just as I did for my reindeer. Fix that with some liquid glue. I cut an extra circle and we'll affix that to the back of my snowman's body just to clean that up on the back. because the base will not entirely fit on my card, so I want that edging to be clean. So I'm looking to see exactly where I want my snowman. Then I will bring in my liquid adhesive and place that on the back. Everywhere except the left and right edges of the base, the body of the snowman, and skipping the hat. I'm going to go ahead and affix my snowman to my gift card holder or gift card envelope and place an acrylic block on top. Next, I will affix the holly berry to the snowman's hat. Oh, this turned out lovely. I will add my twine to the top. And I will add some iridescent snowflakes, 3 of them, to this gift card envelope as well. Now let's take a closer look at all of the tags I made with this kit. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. And if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I will definitely use this kit to make some cards at a later date. Until next time, good day, friends.